This episode of the All About Nothing podcast is sponsored by listeners like you and Big Media LLC, encouraging you to check your voter registration. In a world where every voice counts, ensuring your registration is accurate and up to date is the simplest, most effective way to guarantee your vote is heard. Don't leave your participation to chance. Take a moment today and verify your status and stay ready for the next election by visiting theallaboutnothing.com/voter.
Hey, it's Zach from What the Pod Was That and the All About Nothing podcast. And America's birthday is coming up faster than we can track. Celebrate Independence Day in style with ZJZ Designs' latest t-shirt collection on TeePublic. Introducing 3 brand new 4th of July heart designs that perfectly capture the spirit of America. These shirts feature vibrant, patriotic colors and unique heart-shaped designs that stand out at any celebration. Whether you're heading to a fireworks show, a barbecue, or just enjoying the summer sun, our 4th of July heart collection has something for everyone. Show off your love for the red, white, and blue with ZJZ Design. Visit ZJZ Design's TeePublic shop today and get ready to shine this Independence Day. Links in the show notes or visit ZJZDesigns.com and check out all the great designs. New designs come up often. ZJZDesigns.com.
Welcome, everyone, to the All About Nothing podcast, kind of daily show. I'm Barrett Gruber, host of the All About Nothing podcast. You can find me across all social media at Barrett Gruber. With me is Donald Brock, who is, of course, the coordinator for the Soda City Comic Con, the Coastal Comic Con, the Boardwalk Comic Con, and he raises kids, too, and has a job. So, welcome, Donald. Donald is going to be my guest host for a little while, right? I mean, as long as I can utilize him. So,
why not?
Welcome, Brock. How are you?
I'm great. Trying to stay cool in this crazy heat that we're experiencing in sunny Columbia, South Carolina. And Blythewood. It's warm out here, too.
You know what's crazy is it's not even as hot. It's not like record heat. It's just consistent. Like the temperature, like we've gotten to 100 a couple times. And I think my weather station has said we've had 100 like a couple times, I want to say. But like it's mostly been in like the mid to upper 90s. That's not great, but it's typical. But yeah, we didn't have what they had in Washington, D.C. over the weekend with the 4th of July celebrations. That was insane.
I mean, isn't that a little bit of a poetic justice, though? I mean, don't you just kind of like smile and be like, yeah?
I have heard so many different reasons for why it's been so hot. Especially in like the mid-Atlantic, DC, Virginia areas, because apparently hell has opened up and is waiting for Mitch McConnell to come in. Have you heard some of the craziness? Well, first, let me just say, here are the facts. He did have some sort of a heart situation that required EMS to come. They did perform CPR. All of this has been admitted. Yesterday, news started to break from basically the same guy that had initially reported that Mitch McConnell had had this coronary event and had been taken to the hospital and is currently still in the hospital. So the only facts we know are that Mitch McConnell is in the hospital. We also know that people are reporting that he is brain dead, but we also have reports from people like Scott Jennings on CNN, who is who's one of their conservative commentators, and other senators in the House or in Congress that have said that they have spoken to him within the last couple days, and that he is recovering. Now, I think he's going to be 90 or something like that. So, I mean, that's pretty old, and this is his last term in the Senate. So I don't, I guess dead or alive, it's whatever. But if he's recovering, I'm happy for him because I don't think anybody wants to go out with a coronary, not me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's not mince words, Barrett. Mitch McConnell's been brain dead for quite a few years. So the fact that it's just coming out now is a little surprising to me. I do appreciate the fact, though, in some of his more recent days or weeks, months, rather, that he's grown a pair and has actually stood up to Trump. So kudos to him for kind of going out swinging. And I did see that there was a letter written today by Andy Beshear, who I actually happen to like a lot.
I do too.
And I think he'll actually be back in South Carolina. I was at the Blue Palmetto dinner several maybe a month or two ago. No, that was when was that? That was back in February, maybe March.
May?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I don't know when it was. It was a few months ago. And he spoke. He was the keynote speaker, and I actually liked what he had to say. And I think that he's going to be back in South Carolina because I think that he will be running for president. And I think that he is a candidate, not to get off the Mitch McConnell topic, but I do think that Andy Beshear is a great candidate that kind of transcends the blue and the red. I think that he's a guy that can win. If you can win in deep red Kentucky, you can win in slightly less red and purple states. So someone like Andy Beshear could give a good run against, I don't know, Golden Boy J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, who I actually also happen to like. I actually like Marco Rubio. I think he'd be a breath of fresh air out of the Republican Party if he were to somehow win that nomination, because I also think he's going to run.
I think that I would probably be a little bit easier with Rubio if, after all is said and done, when he campaigns, because he's going to run for president again. But if he comes out and was like, look, the last 4 years was complete bullshit. I know what it looked like. I had to go along. I had
a job. I had to keep my job.
Well, or to say I was the adult in the room. Like all the things that could have gone off the rails more than they have, I kept them on the rails. So,
I think he would have a good argument. I think that the
too.
American people would look at it and be like, you kept us from complete embarrassment on the national stage.
I like Shapiro, too, out of Pennsylvania, but I do like Andy Beshear a lot. In fact, I think one of the things that there's some rule that apparently, like, if Mitch McConnell is dead and that gets out, then the governor has the ability to go ahead and name his replacement until a special election, even though it is an election year for the seat that Mitch McConnell currently occupies. But the problem is that Mitch McConnell is on a committee where the split is dead even without him there. It's 14 Democrats, 14 Republicans. And right now, I can't remember what that committee is, but it has something to do with budgeting and things like that. So they literally cannot do anything if the Democrats and the Republicans don't align on anything coming out of this committee. So, and the committee can't replace him. Like the Senate Majority Leader, Thune, I guess, can't come in and say, all right, we're replacing Mitch McConnell with so-and-so, because Mitch McConnell has to vacate that seat in order for them to be able to replace him. So if Beshear gets the opportunity to replace him, the fear is that he's going to replace him with a Democrat. And I get that would be opportunistic by Beshear to do that. I think the likelihood is that Beshear would probably replace him with like Massey. Like, I get Massey has been very MAGA throughout, but Massey's also the one that was responsible with the Democrat out of California to get that
Ro
Khanna, to get the Epstein information pulled from the DOJ. So like, Massey seems like a straight shooter. His support of Donald Trump prior to this, in my opinion, doesn't look great to me, but at the same time, it's like he stuck to his guns. Like, he said he was going to deliver on this, and he did. And he worked. It was bipartisan because there were Republicans and Democrats that signed off on it. And so Massey I don't know. Massey's not great, but he's also not bad. I mean, he's done some right things as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. How did you celebrate the 4th?
Well, there was a lot of nothing done because it was also hot on that day. And then a lot of us went to the Fireflies game that night.
Oh, yeah.
So, the CVB will every once in a while give us tickets. And I should have called you. Next time I'll call you.
You know what?
But if you have your girls, that makes it a little more challenging.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say that the other thing is about Fireflies games in July. So I do season tickets for the Fireflies games, but I try to front end most of them to the beginning of the season, like the April, May, before it gets to be 100 degrees. So,
well, you clearly don't remember who you're having a conversation with, because I don't sit in the cheap seats. We had a suite, so we sat in the air conditioning.
Then call me next time. Yeah, please.
Okay. Yeah, we were in the air conditioning.
Yeah. So you were there for the game that they were supposed to have the fireworks. Got an email
did have the fireworks.
about this. Okay.
Yeah.
Was there an issue with them?
Apparently, the British showed up and sabotaged the fireworks. So, yeah, they went off for about 5 minutes, and then everybody was like, okay. And then nothing. And we were like, what's going on? And then, yeah, it turned out they had some sort of technical issue, and they couldn't restart them. And so that was kind of it. I mean, it was a little anticlimactic, but I mean, you go for a baseball game, you stay for some fireworks. The fireworks are your lanyap. So it was nice, and they won 7-1. And apparently, Fredericksburg is a very good team, and they whipped them up pretty good. So we got to see a win and a little bit of fireworks at the end, which was more than enough for me. So we were good.
I will just remind everybody that you can always hear your Firefly update right here on the All About Nothing podcast every week. Sunday release on that with John Kosis Jr. So check that out. We're the only podcast that gets that. So
that's great. I can even see your little Firefly logo over your right shoulder.
Yeah, there you
go.
There's one right there.
Well, which one?
And then there's one right
see
there.
The towel. Yeah, let's see the towel. Yeah.
So I did want to ask Comic-Con. We're coming up on that August 22nd, 23rd. Already have announced a lot of big names. The one I'm excited about this week that you released is Booger from the what is it? The Nerds
Revenge
movies.
of the Nerds.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, it doesn't get more 80s than Revenge of the Nerds cast, does it?
No. Curtis Armstrong was and it wasn't just Revenge of the Nerds. Like he's legitimately a really good actor. In my opinion, like some of the stuff that he has done outside of Revenge of the Nerds, I think is just he's just a good actor. I'm excited about seeing him there. Of course, we have and I want to make sure Dr. Peter Weller.
That's
that right?
correct. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
I don't want that to fall to the side because apparently that is a very big deal. That is a very big deal.
So we have heard.
Yeah. Larry B. Scott, also from Revenge of the Nerds. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Julia
cool.
Montgomery, Betty Childs. Yeah. Any guy who grew up in the 80s, he knows Betty Childs.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Julia Montgomery, too.
Yeah.
I think this is an outstanding setup for this year. Like, I mean, I didn't think that it wouldn't be, but I just think that it's a really good setup.
Yeah, we're kind of excited. We still have 2 more guests that we're going to announce this week to kind of round it out. I haven't watched the new season of Daredevil, but Wilson Bethel, who plays Bullseye, is coming, and of course, everybody's favorite RoboCop, Peter Weller. Like you said, Dr. Peter Weller. And we've got a couple anime people sprinkled in. So, it's a well-rounded lineup this year with, I would say, a little bit of a heavier focus on 80s nostalgia. Because one thing that, we like, it wasn't last year, but it was the year before. Yeah, I guess it was the year before when Peter Cullen came.
Yeah.
And there are guests that we're really starting to look at. And we're trying to figure out a formula that works for the Columbia market. And one thing that we've kind of found is that you can kind of focus on people who are kind of up and comers, and then you focus on somebody or somebodies that are legacy guests.
Yeah.
And I would say that the Revenge of the Nerds cast, even though there are other cast members that we don't have. Some of them have gone away. Ogre passed away. The guy who played Louis Skolnick has since died. So when you have an opportunity to meet some of these 80s icons, I just tell people this is your chance to meet these people if you want to in your hometown. Don't miss this chance. Columbia is not a major market. The odds of these people coming back are slim.
Yeah.
So if you want to meet RoboCop, this may be your year to meet Peter Weller. At some point, he will slow down. We would love to get Peter Cullen back. I just don't know if it's going to be a possibility. I mean, he's in his mid 80s. So.
Yeah. And Cullen was just epic. It was almost like having Sean Astin the year before. Like, Sean Astin drew huge crowds. The line to go and get autographs for Sean Astin was unbelievable. And then Peter Weller crushed those lines.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it was some sort of geriatric torture what he had to go through for 2 days, because the lines, I mean, it was just lines the whole time. And of course, then you had Carrie Payton, who was at the other end from Peter or from Cullen, who was just epic. But like, I stood with him for a little while, and we're just standing there watching this long ass line over at Peter Cullen, and Carrie's like, I was the king.
Yeah, but you're not Optimus Prime.
No, that's true. Optimus Prime draws a crowd. But
Optimus
you're right.
Prime draws a crowd. Yep.
Yeah. But Peter Weller isn't just he's not just RoboCop. Like, what was it? Screamers he was in. What's another?
I don't know.
One?
I'd have to look at chat. I really don't know. I just know him from RoboCop. But he's also from apparently a very well known and director. He's directed a lot of things and done very well.
Star Trek Into Darkness, where he played the Fitzroy or Admiral or whatever for the Star Federation.
Yeah.
With Benedict Cumberbatch and Chris Pine and that whole cast. Like, he was fantastic in Star Trek Into Darkness. That was like Star Trek. The first Star Trek of that series was really good, but then Star Trek Into Darkness I thought was phenomenal. I'm sure people would disagree with me, but no reason to. I thought it was fantastic. So I am excited about Soda City Comic Con coming up August 22nd and 23rd at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center. I've got people coming in town that are staying here at the house while it's going on. They're coming down to it. So I don't know if they bought their tickets yet, but tickets are available, right? So
lots of them.
SodaCityComicCon.com to get those. And of course, on the heels is Broadway or Boardwalk Comic Con.
Well, we haven't officially announced it, but may as well. Boardwalk is going to be moved to 2027. Logistically, It just doesn't work in October, and I've just been slack. I'll just fall on the sword in getting back to most people, but we're probably going to send out notifications this week. We need the facility is just so large. We need multiple days to get it set up. So we need 4 days versus 3.
Well,
so we learned
it's so close. Last year it was so close behind Soda City.
Yeah.
It was, I have to imagine that was an absolute endeavor. I had planned on trying to make it out, but it even for me, who's not doing what you all do, it didn't work. So it was not easy. So United States, Canada, and Mexico, all of the 3 hosting countries for the World Cup are
Trashed out.
I can honestly say I don't know a whole lot about soccer. I watched some of the USA-Belgium game. I did watch Argentina and Argentina.
Egypt?
Yeah, Argentina and Egypt.
The last 10 minutes.
Yeah. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I normally don't get excited. Like, the most soccer I watch is Welcome to Wrexham, and that has almost very little soccer in it anymore because it's mostly just a documentary. But yeah, so Mexico fell to England. Canada lost to Morocco. So none of the hosting countries are still in. I don't even know. Is that something that happens often in the World Cup? Like, do the host countries fall out? I guess they made it pretty decently far.
I guess. Well, one thing about the World Cup, and I am by no means a soccer expert. I tend to watch soccer about every 4 years, kind of like everybody else when the World Cup comes on, because we're all rooting for the U.S. to get past the group stage. Quite frankly, one benefit of being a host country or countries is that you automatically get in, so you don't have to qualify. Yeah. But I think that Mexico and the U.S. would have qualified anyways. Canada, but all 3 of them got out of group stage, but it was an expanded group stage from 32 to 48. So. So you had a round of 32. So they added an extra round, which means there'll be an extra game for everybody this year.
Yeah.
Do the host countries usually crash out? I think it depends on who the host country is. 4 years ago, it was Qatar. I mean, I don't remember them going far at all. They may not even made it out of group stage. I don't remember.
I didn't remember Qatar having a team, so that's
So, I don't know who the host is in 4 years, but like if you've got obviously like a France or Spain or Germany or any of your big boys, Germany, crashed out in the first round.
Yeah.
The Netherlands or Holland. No, who is it? Norway. Oops. Yeah, Italy didn't even make it. So, which is very surprising. Norway is just become, I think, everybody's favorite now with Erling Haaland or whatever his name is. And, and the fans, and you watch the games, and it's just, you can just kind of feel the excitement just sitting in your living room watching it on TV. And soccer's a slow burn, but when they score, it's just like,
I think one of the coolest things about the whole experience with the World Cup is watching people's reaction from outside the country here in the United States and their excitement about being here. Like my mother and I had a conversation this weekend. It initially started out with her arguing or her thinking that I think America sucks and whatever. And I'm like, I've never thought that. I think it's super cool. I watch all the, I see the reels of all the Scots in Boston, and then the stories about them completely drinking out of all of the beer, except for Bud Light, because even the Scots won't drink Bud Light apparently.
Can't fault them.
Yeah, well, they're not a sponsor, so I'm not worried about it. I think it's really cool. Like some of the videos are just showing people in like tech. Like I guess they were in Dallas. And it was a guy from China who was eating ribs for the first time.
It was Japan. I saw that. Yeah, he ate a Texas Twinkie.
Yeah. And I'm like, where do we get servings like that here? Like, I don't know where those restaurants are.
We don't. We got to go to Texas. You ready to go? I'm ready to go.
I go to Texas. I go to Texas. Oh, you know what?
I would make a road trip just to go eat my way through Texas.
I'm gonna fly.
Yeah.
I'd rather get on an airplane. I'm not good in a car, but yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I just think it's really cool how, despite the fact that what the United States looks like politically outside of the country, to the rest of the world, I still think it's really cool that people came here, they spent their money, and they're still here. They're still spending their money. I mean, we got.
Oh yeah.
I mean, England is, there are plenty of people from the UK that are here. I wish that Columbia, South Carolina had been able to, score some sort of maybe a match or one of the games, because Williams-Brice would be a great place to host.
It would be. Yeah, it would be.
Or if need be, I don't think it's any cooler up at Clemson, but Clemson could have hosted. University of Georgia could have hosted. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Charlotte, too.
Bank of America Stadium.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, but I do think that it's really cool to see how the world sort of embraced American culture and really just hit social media hard with how much they were enjoying it, despite any negativity we have.
Yeah. I think one of the big takeaways is when these individuals go back to their home countries, have we ruined it for them? Have they gotten a taste of the way Americans live? And they're like, what do you mean we can get refills? What do you mean that this little amount of money gets this much food? Like a lot of, like you said, the reactions on social media is that people are just blown away. And you can go to, 50 different places in the country and you get all different types of food.
Yeah.
You go to the Baltimore area and you can get seafood and crabs. You go to New York and get a little bit of everything. You go to Texas and you get barbecue. Come to South Carolina, you get different kind of barbecue or soul food. You can go to Atlanta. They've got they've got one of the semifinal matches down there. It's just each area of the country kind of has its own type of culture. U.S. is very much a country with a bunch of other countries kind of built in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is something, and whether you're a Democrat or Republican, I think that's something you have to acknowledge is just the diversity of the United States and how well that works for the United States. And this idea of making it one race or color or whatever, because there are those out there that certainly believe that we would be better off that way, but it's just, it's wrong. Like,
yeah, weren't they carrying flags with their faces completely covered up through DC on the 4th or something? Wasn't that it wasn't the Proud Boys? It was some freedom.
Yeah, it
freedom
was
guys
the Freedom Watch or something like that or whatever.
Yeah,
do you want to hear something funny about that group? So
sure, if there's anything funny about that group, which is
I want to say funny, not funny, but it's so apparently from some of the CIs, like, because the FBI puts they have informants inside of these groups, whether it's the Proud Boys or it's the Freedom Watch or whatever these groups are. But they have informants in there. And supposedly this fall, there is a book coming out from someone who was deep inside one of these Proud Boy groups. And one of the excerpts that they talked about from that, and again, I saw this on social media. They were talking about some, this tell-all book that's supposed to be coming out. But one of the things they talked about was how, because it's nothing but men, the amount of homosexual sex that goes on inside these groups is shocking. It's almost it's shocking. And then you think about it and like, oh yeah, these are the incels that they're celibate, not at their own action. Like, they're celibate because of who they are. But yeah, that I don't know that it's going to be the book that I read, but I'm interested in seeing, the break aparts of it. So,
I think it's probably safe to say that most of these individuals in these various groups would identify as Republicans. Yeah. And, you know me well enough to know that I tend to lean a little more conservative than I would, at least fiscally. And the Republican Party of today is not the party that I grew up kind of, seeing myself potentially support. But if I'm not mistaken, whenever the Republican National Convention goes to a host city, the level of Grindr interaction skyrockets for the weekends that they're there. I think I'm not the only person that's made this observation, or the only person that's read about that. I think it's pretty well known.
It has made it all the way to like MS Now and CNN, and they joke about it on Fox. Not obviously not the people that are hosting Fox News or the anchors or anything like that, because they don't want to talk about it. But yeah, Grindr has had complete shutdowns because of the amount of usage when the GOP comes to town for their conventions.
I just think that's the level of hypocrisy, yet hilarious, antecedent to their conventions, that it's hilarious. It makes me just laugh.
And we'll see what happens when they go to Dallas in later this fall.
The midterm convention. Oh, that ought to be fun. We ought to go down there and cover it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a Grindr account.
See if we can get some media credentials and get in there and just ask ridiculous questions like Conan O'Brien would do. Just ask him get the people with the MAGA hats and you interview them, just asking them the most ludicrous questions that, you ask them about the $5 million verdict that Trump was ordered to pay today. Do you think Trump really harassed that woman? Well, why is he paying the $5 million? Just ask them, put them on the spot, make them nervous.
It's amazing to me, the cognitive dissonance that still takes place, even though the evidence continues to mount against Donald Trump. I saw him speaking at the NATO summit today before heading home. He is so disconnected. He said that Japan was the Islamic Republic of Japan and that they were firing on ships. And I know he meant Iran. He said Japan. But if Biden had done that at all during his presidency, then Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, they would have been completely all over it. Look where he screwed up. He said he's alienating our allies in Japan by calling them the Islamic Republic of Japan. Like, but Trump does it, and they're just like, we know what he meant.
Well, there was it's funny you say that. Here's some headline news. Democrat Graham Plattner withdraws from Maine Senate race after allegation of sexual assault. That's kind of this. Well, I mean, it's good. Yes, good, but it was kind of disappointing because I actually thought he had a good shot at winning. Skeletons.
His are bad. Like, it's and it's almost like they're on a timed release. Like they just wait for they wait for the wave of the last allegation, or because that's what they are. They're allegations at this point. But I am typically of the mindset of, if a woman makes an allegation, I believe it. Because the amount of I don't know, to be able to come out and accuse someone like Graham Plattner of sexual assault, or whatever it is he did, push them or yelled at them, he obviously has some angst to him, and maybe it was in the past, but it doesn't sound like it's ever been really resolved with the people that the women that he potentially victimized. So as far as I'm concerned, every single time something else new would come out, it took a notch off, and it's like, yeah, I like the message, but like, this shouldn't be the poster boy for that message. And ultimately, him stepping down gives Maine the opportunity to actually have or find someone to run on the Democratic side. I don't know that they'll win. I mean, Susan Collins I think people have been proud of Susan Collins' stance against some of the things that Trump has done. And for the most part, Maine is, a New England state. It's for the most part, it's blue.
Yeah.
So Susan Collins has been voted in a blue state pretty frequent, as many times as she has. So she's doing something right for them. That's kind of like with, we had Strom Thurmond here. I was not a Republican I never got to vote for Strom Thurmond. I didn't move here until after his last term before he passed away. But I certainly recognize the effects of Strom Thurmond here in South Carolina for what he did for the state, because Joe Wilson's out here saying Joe means jobs or whatever like that, but fuck that, man. Strom Thurmond brought jobs to South Carolina. We had tens of thousands of federal jobs here because of Strom Thurmond. So I didn't agree with his politics, but he made it happen here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wanted to
let's go back to that NATO summit that you talked about, because an article came out earlier after that apparently the NATO leaders got a different version of Trump after his speech.
Really?
That he went inside and he was singing their praises and talking about how great they were and how we're aligned, and how he's pro-Ukraine now. And I've heard this from multiple people. Some people that I respect, and some people that I've actually served with on council. Sure. That there are two versions of Donald Trump. There's the TV version that everybody gets, and then there's the Trump behind the cloak. When the cameras are off, he's a completely different person. Yeah. Maybe even a little more reasonable and a little more sensible person. I don't know if that's true, because I've never been behind closed doors and had any personal interactions with the guy. If it is true, though, and people sing your praises and they actually like to be around you when you're behind closed doors, why not just come out and be that person all the time? Like,
completely agree.
You don't have to prove anything. You've won the presidency twice, not even back-to-back terms. You clearly have a way of winning. Trump likes to win. Okay, well, you can't really win a bigger prize in the world anymore. You've won the presidency twice. What harm would it do now to show a little bit of kindness and a little bit of empathy and be like, let's try to build something. Yeah. I don't know. Does it alienate the 25 or 30% of the people who are the MAGA guys? I don't know. MAGA guys, MAGA gals. I don't know.
I think that Trump specifically speaks to, when he's on television, I think that he is specifically speaking to his base. And that base, of course, is that it's that, 39-40% of the Republican Party, and it's that 18% of the general voting public. But he knows that everything, as long as he stays inside those lanes and he speaks to them, those are the people that are going to show up at his rallies. Those are the people that are going to show up, and make a spectacle for him. They're going to, honestly, I think mostly it's just the grifting. Those are the people that are going to keep buying his merch.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can figure it out. Donald Trump was a Democrat up until 3 days before he ran for president, where he came down the golden escalator in June of 2015. He was a Democrat all the way up. He was a man that believed that women's had the right to choose what they did with their own bodies. He believed in strict gun control. But it was 2 or 3 days before that he was like, "Fuck it, if I'm gonna run for president, I'm gonna run as a Republican because they'll believe anything." I mean, he didn't actually say that. People think he said that to Oprah or something, but he never actually said that, which is disappointing. I wish he had, because then you'd be able to present that to somebody who is an ardent Trump supporter and be like, he said this. He said he was going to run because you were stupid. But he didn't say it. It's unfortunate. I wish he had.
Well, he would have actually been proven right.
Yeah, well, in a sense, that may have been his motivation. So
yeah.
I wanted to ask you before we exit. So your bowel's okay? You're not experiencing any of this explosive diarrhea, are you?
No, I'm good.
No. Are
you?
You know what? I have such an iron, like a steel plated bowel system that everything that goes in comes out anyway. I don't, again, I'm not from this planet, so. Your food just sort of. No, that apparently the parasite contaminated produce or whatever is 700 cases across the state or across the country. Apparently back in June this started, but there's 14 states with it now. Ohio, North Carolina, New York, Texas are also now reporting new cases of it. The problem is,
when did this start?
It was about late June, so end of June.
So right when the World Cup started, so are these foreigners bringing in parasites into our country? Oh no!
You think they were bringing in salad greens and cilantro and snow peas and
I solved it. I just solved the case.
I don't think ICE even allows. Customs isn't supposed to allow that in. Apparently, CDC's investigating though. My father-in-law, ex-father-in-law, whatever. He came by the house Saturday and he brought some heirloom tomatoes that he had picked up at the farmer's market and a cantaloupe. And I said, and I always appreciate when he brings stuff over because I like using tomatoes for sandwiches. The heirloom tomatoes are a little weird for sandwiches, but it's fine. And anyway, so he says, as he's giving it to me, the last thing he says is, make sure you wash this stuff because, that diarrhea stuff's going around. And I said, did you? I said, you've eaten this. Have you had an issue? And he goes, yeah, but it was last week. And I was like, all right. So all of it went right into the trash.
I wonder if he's watching.
No, he is not. We do not have the same opinions. Yeah. Our arguing over politics has come to a pretty good stop lately, just because he doesn't want to hear what I have to say, and I enjoy terrorizing him about what he has to say. So it's a one-way street now.
Oh, there's a massive grasshopper in my house. Oh, and my dog is freaking out. Look at this. This will be the cutest dog. This would be the cutest dog. Your viewers are going to be like, bring back Kiko. I mean, this is what I get to live with right here, everybody. This little brown potato. And she was apparently just chasing this. Oh, here, let me show you. Look at this bug. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. I'm going to take this over here. Look at this thing. Can you see it right there?
That is pretty big.
Yeah. It's fucking sure that's massive.
That looks like a.
I don't know what it is.
That looks like one of those camel crickets.
Yeah, it might be. I'm about to snatch it up when we get out of here and toss it outside. It doesn't need to be hanging out. You got to leave it alone.
They will bite you too. So, just be warned.
Then I'll get that tennis racket that looks like the griddle, and you can pop them with the electricity. Those things are so much fun. Oh, we should just do an episode of just pop, like touching it, like on ourselves, like No.
What we'll do is we'll do trivia questions. We'll pull out Trivia Pursuit. We'll do trivia questions every time one of us gets it wrong, and we have to take the safety packaging off of it so that you get full contact.
Well, you put a blindfold in, you touch it like one foot, and you don't know which foot you're going to touch, so you're sitting there like freaking out, the anticipation. You're like, no!
All right, on that bombshell of things to come.
That makes it fun!
Big thanks for everybody watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget, you can follow me at Barrett Gruber across all social media. Visit SodaCityComicCon.com to pick up your tickets now. Donald Brock, of course, is the one of the you and Steve are the big coordinators for the whole event, along with your unbelievably talented and your volunteers that put this on, like Amy.
No, we got staff.
Steve.
They're staff. They're
paid.
Staff. No, they're paid. Oh yeah, absolutely. They're staff. We have the greatest staff across all pop culture events. We do. They're absolutely fantastic. We get compliments by everybody about them.
Yeah.
So that horse back there is giving me a little bit of nervous, making me a nervous Nelly. So.
All right. Don't forget, thanks for liking, hitting that bell. If you can, give us a 5-star review, leave a comment. Until next time, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself. The preceding podcast is solely owned by the host or hosts and is distributed by Big Media, LLC. Copyright 2026. Well, you've made it to the end. You survived the rambling, the tangents, and whatever nonsense we just subjected your ears to. Congratulations. Now that your brain is sufficiently scrambled, how about doing something productive for democracy? Before you go off to forget everything you just heard, do yourself a favor and double-check that your voter registration is actually legit at theallaboutnothing.com/voter. It's about the only way to make sure your vote counts, even if your taste in podcast is questionable.